The exploration vessel, Hope, drifted silently through the darkness of deep space. Captain Jack stood on the bridge, his weathered face reflecting the glow of countless stars through the main viewport. Earth was now just a distant memory, a tiny blue dot left behind as humanity took its first real steps into the galaxy. "Captain, I'm picking up a strange signal," said Anna, her fingers dancing across the communications console. The young specialist had been the first to volunteer for this mission, despite the risks of venturing beyond known space. Jack moved to her station, eyebrows furrowing. "What kind of signal?" "It's not random space noise. There's a pattern, sir. It's coming from that star system ahead, the uncharted one." Engineer Tom looked up from his station, curiosity brightening his eyes. "Could be a natural phenomenon. Or our first contact," finished Dr. Lisa, the ship's medical officer. Her voice carried a mix of excitement and caution that echoed throughout the bridge. Mike, the security officer, immediately tensed. His hand instinctively moved to the weapon at his hip. "I don't like it, Captain. We should report back to Earth first." Jack studied the star map. They were far beyond the reach of timely communications with Earth. This decision would be his alone. "Plot a course to investigate," he ordered finally. "But keep all systems at ready status." The Hope changed direction, its engines humming with power as it approached the source of the mysterious signal. Days later, they entered the star system and discovered an artificial structure orbiting the third planet, an alien outpost. "It's beautiful," whispered Anna as they approached. The station gleamed with a blue-silver light, its architecture unlike anything humans had designed, all curves and flowing lines. Before they could discuss their next move, a transmission came through. "Greetings, humans of Earth vessel," said a melodic voice in perfect English. "We are the Blue Ones. We welcome you to our observation post." The crew exchanged shocked glances. "How do they know our language?" Mike demanded. "We've been monitoring your communications for some time," the voice continued, as if hearing Mike's question. "Please dock with our station. We wish to meet Earth's first deep space travelers." After a tense meeting, the crew voted to accept the invitation, with Mike being the only dissenting voice. Captain Jack remained uneasy but saw the potential benefits of peaceful first contact. The Blue Ones were tall, slender beings with skin that shifted in color like the surface of a soap bubble, predominantly displaying various shades of blue. They welcomed the humans warmly, sharing knowledge and technology freely. "Your ship systems are quite primitive," said the Blue One's leader, whom they called First Voice. "We could help you improve them significantly." Tom's eyes lit up at the prospect. "That would be amazing." Captain Jack intervened. "That's a generous offer, but we can't accept modifications to our core systems." First Voice nodded understandingly. "Perhaps just minor improvements then? To your life support? Navigation? We only wish to help new friends." The crew's excitement eventually overrode Jack's caution. Over the next 3 days, Blue One's technicians worked alongside Tom, installing what they called efficiency modules throughout the Hope. Only Mike remained suspicious, watching the aliens work with narrowed eyes. "They're too helpful, Captain," he whispered to Jack. "Nobody gives away advanced tech for nothing." On the 4th day, the Hope departed from the station with grateful farewells and promises of future visits. The ship hummed with new energy, systems running at peak efficiency. 6 hours into their journey, the first malfunction occurred. Navigation flickered, then stabilized. Then life support briefly faltered. "What's happening?" Jack demanded as the bridge lights dimmed. Tom frantically worked his console. "I don't know. Everything was perfect during testing. When the engine suddenly lost 20% power, Tom dove into the maintenance shafts. He emerged an hour later, his face pale. "Captain, you need to see this," he said, holding up a small blue-silver device. This isn't what they showed me during installation. These components, they're tied into every major system. As if triggered by discovery, alarms blared throughout the ship. Systems began shutting down one by one. We've been sabotaged, Jack realized as the lights failed and emergency power kicked in. In the darkness of the bridge, the crew of the Hope faced the terrible truth. They were drifting powerless in deep space, oxygen levels already beginning to fall, victims of an alien betrayal they never saw coming. Red emergency lights cast eerie shadows across the bridge of the Hope. The air felt thicker with each passing minute as the life support systems struggled on minimal power. Captain Jack watched his crew working desperately to save their ship and their lives. Oxygen levels at 70% and dropping, Dr. Lisa reported, her voice steady despite the fear in her eyes. We have maybe 6 hours before we start feeling severe effects. Engineer Tom was buried shoulder-deep in an access panel, surrounded by tools and discarded components. Sweat dripped from his forehead as he yanked out another blue-silver device from the ship's systems. These things are everywhere, he grunted. They're like technological parasites. They've intertwined with our systems at the molecular level. He held up the alien device, which pulsed with faint light. And they're all connected to each other somehow. Security Officer Mike paced the bridge, his face dark with anger. I knew it. I knew they couldn't be trusted. Save the "I told you so" for when we're not dying, Anna snapped from the communication station. She had been trying to send distress signals for the past hour, but nothing was getting through. Suddenly, she straightened. Wait. I'm picking something up. It's not a response to our call, it's a transmission between the blue ones. She quickly patched it through to the main speakers. The melodic voices of the aliens filled the bridge, but now their friendly tone was gone, replaced by cold calculation. The human vessel has been neutralized as planned, said one voice. Their systems will fail completely within their planetary day. Excellent, replied another. The assessment was correct, they are technological infants, easily deceived. Yet their faster-than-light drive design is surprisingly efficient. Their elimination is necessary before they advance further and upset the galactic balance. Captain Jack's fist tightened. They never intended to help us. This was an execution. But why? Lisa asked. What threat could we possibly pose to them? Tom emerged from the access panel with another device. Maybe it's not what we are, but what we might become. He grunted as he disconnected it from the ship's circuitry. I've been studying these things as I remove them. They're decades, maybe centuries, beyond our technology. But here's the thing, they're designed to look primitive to us, like simple enhancement modules. A technological Trojan horse, Mike muttered. Anna continued monitoring the alien transmissions. There's more. They're talking about humans upsetting something called the threefold balance. Apparently, there are 3 major alien coalitions keeping each other in check, and they fear we might tip the scales if we develop too quickly. As they talked, Tom made a discovery that turned his face ashen. Captain, there's something biological in the air filtration systems. Some kind of alien agent. Dr. Lisa immediately grabbed her medical scanner and confirmed Tom's fear. It's some kind of synthetic organism. It's breaking down our oxygen molecules. That's why levels are dropping faster than they should be. With this new information, Captain Jack made a difficult decision. We need to cut out all the alien tech. All of it. Even if it means losing ship functions we can't replace. But that could leave us stranded, Anna protested. We're already stranded, Jack replied grimly. At least this way we'll be alive. The crew worked frantically for hours, physically removing every piece of alien technology they could find. Tom led the effort, revealing knowledge that surprised the others. Before joining this mission, I worked in experimental systems, he explained while rewiring a circuit panel. Projects too unusual for standard engineering. That's why I recognize some of the principles they're using. Different application, but similar concepts. With the last alien device removed, they managed to restore minimal power and life support. The Hope was crippled but alive, drifting slowly through space. There's a planet within reach, Anna announced after checking the navigation. Uninhabited according to our scans from earlier. We could land there, make proper repairs. Using the last of their maneuvering fuel, they guided the Hope to the planet's surface, landing roughly on a rocky plain. As they stepped outside to assess the damage, Mike spotted something in the sky. "Captain! Look!" A massive ship had appeared in orbit above them, its design unmistakably similar to the Blue One's outpost. "They've come to make sure we're dead," Jack said quietly. "Everyone back inside. We need to hide the ship." The hunt had begun, and the humans were the prey. The crew of the Hope worked quickly under Captain Jack's direction, powering down all non-essential systems to avoid detection. Their ship now rested deep within a network of magnetic caves that Engineer Tom had spotted during their descent. "The magnetic fields should mask our energy signature," Tom explained as they finished concealing the ship. "But it won't fool them forever. They'll start ground searches soon." Captain Jack nodded grimly. "Then we need a plan before they find us." He turned to his crew, who looked back at him with determination despite their exhaustion. "Ideas?" For a moment, silence filled the cave. Then Tom spoke up, his voice low but steady. "I say we use their own technology against them." Mike snorted. "The same tech that nearly killed us?" "Exactly," Tom replied, his eyes lighting up with the spark of inspiration. "These sabotage devices contain technology far beyond what we have on Earth. If I can understand how they work, maybe I can reverse engineer them." "To do what?" Anna asked. "To upgrade our ship, for real this time." Tom pulled out one of the alien devices they had removed. "Look at this. The miniaturization alone is decades ahead of us. And the power source? It's still active after being disconnected from any input." Dr. Lisa frowned. "But can you really figure it out in time?" "I have to try," Tom said simply. Captain Jack made his decision. "Tom works on the alien tech. The rest of us gather resources and prepare defenses. Lisa, see if there's anything useful in the local environment. Mike, set up a perimeter. Anna, keep monitoring their communications if you can. We work together, or we don't make it home." The crew dispersed to their tasks. Days passed in a blur of activity. Tom barely slept, hunched over salvaged alien components spread across makeshift workbenches. The others brought him food and water, but his focus never wavered. On the third day, Dr. Lisa returned from exploring with an excited expression. "I found something." She opened her sample bag to reveal a strange blue-purple plant. "This contains a compound that reacts with our fuel. In my tests, it increased energy output by nearly 40%. That could help with our power problems," Jack acknowledged. "Good work." Meanwhile, Security Officer Mike had set traps around their hiding spot, using techniques from his military background combined with local materials. "It won't stop them," he admitted, "but it'll slow them down and give us warning." Anna had managed to modify their communications equipment using parts from her personal devices. "I've cracked more of their transmission codes," she reported. "They're methodically searching the northern continent first. We have maybe 2 days before they reach this region." Tom's breakthrough came on the 4th night. The crew was gathered around a small heating unit when he burst into their circle, his face streaked with grease but wearing an enormous grin. "I've got it," he exclaimed. "They're sabotage devices, they're actually multi-purpose systems. The same tech that was shutting us down can be reconfigured to enhance our systems instead." He showed them crude diagrams explaining his discoveries. The blue ones designed these to be undetectable to us, but that means they had to make them compatible with our technology. I can use that compatibility to integrate their power systems, their sensor arrays, even parts of their weapons technology into Hope. Will it work? Jack asked bluntly. Tom's smile faltered slightly. Theoretically. But there's only one way to find out. The next day, they began implementing Tom's plans. Lisa's plant extract was processed into fuel enhancer. Mike and Anna helped Tom install the modified alien components throughout the ship. Captain Jack maintained their schedule and kept morale from flagging, even when the work seemed impossible. Their first test came after 36 hours of non-stop work. Tom connected the primary power coupling, and the ship hummed to life, for 3 seconds before a massive surge blew out the connection in a shower of sparks. Back to work, Tom said, already reaching for tools to fix the damage. The second attempt, 12 hours later, was more successful. The ship's systems came online at approximately 60% capacity, not ideal, but enough to fly. As they were preparing for their third attempt to reach full power, Mike burst into the ship. They've found us. Blue One's troops just triggered the northern perimeter. Through the cave entrance, they could see alien shuttles descending from the battleship above. Captain Jack looked at his engineer. Tom? Tom hesitated only a moment before his face hardened with determination. Let's show them what humans can do when backed into a corner. Security Officer Mike pressed his back against the cave wall, his makeshift weapon at the ready. Behind him, the rest of the crew frantically prepared the Hope for emergency launch. Through the cave entrance, he could see 3 blue ones advancing cautiously, their slender bodies moving with unsettling grace. They're approaching the second trap line, Mike whispered into his communicator. Get ready. Inside the ship, Engineer Tom's hands flew across the control panels. Sweat beaded on his forehead as he integrated the final components of his hybrid human-alien system. How much more time do you need? Captain Jack asked, his voice tense. 10 minutes for essential systems, 30 for full integration, Tom replied without looking up. Jack's face hardened. You have 5. Outside, Mike triggered the first of his traps. A carefully balanced rock formation collapsed, blocking the most direct path to the cave. The blue ones paused, their skin shifting to darker shades of blue, a sign of alarm Mike had learned from Anna's intercepted communications analysis. Diversion working, Mike reported. But they're splitting up to find another way in. Dr. Lisa appeared at his side, carrying several clay pots filled with a pungent mixture. Smoke bombs, she explained. Made from those sulfur vents and the blue-purple plants. Should create enough cover for us to launch. Mike nodded appreciatively. Smart thinking, document. Inside the Hope, Anna worked at the communications array, her face illuminated by the glow of alien technology now fused with human components. I've got into their tactical frequency, she announced. I'm uploading false information about our position now. She looked up with a grim smile. As far as their main force knows, we're hiding on the opposite side of the planet. Captain Jack checked his chronometer. Tom? Almost there, the engineer called from deep within the engine compartment. The shield modifications are online, weapons are at 200% of original capacity, and engines, a sudden hum vibrated through the ship. Engines are now operational at enhanced capacity. Mike, Lisa, get inside now. Jack ordered through the communicator. Outside, the situation was deteriorating rapidly. More blue ones had arrived, spreading out to surround the cave. Mike detonated his remaining traps in quick succession while Lisa threw her smoke bombs. Under cover of chaos and thick, blue-tinged smoke, they sprinted back to the ship. Everyone strap in, Jack commanded as they sealed the hatch. This launch might get rough. Tom's hybrid engines roared to life with unexpected power. The Hope shuddered, then shot upward through the cave ceiling, pulverizing rock that should have stopped a vessel of its size. The magnetic interference that had hidden them now caused the alien sensors to lose them momentarily as they burst into open air. The ships! Anna shouted, pointing at the alien vessels now scrambling to intercept them. I see them, Jack replied calmly, his hands steady on the controls. A blue energy beam lanced toward them from the nearest alien scout ship. Instead of taking evasive action, Jack held his course. The beam struck the Hope's new shields, and dissipated harmlessly in a spray of light. Shields holding at 98%, Tom reported, his voice filled with disbelief and pride. The integration worked better than I calculated. Our turn, Jack said. Weapons? Ready, Mike confirmed from the tactical station. The Hope's modified weapons released a concentrated pulse of energy, a human design now amplified by alien power sources. The nearest Blue One scout ship shuddered as the pulse hit, its systems failing visibly before it began drifting. One down, Mike announced as they soared higher into the atmosphere. 3 more alien vessels moved to intercept, firing in coordinated bursts. Jack's piloting skills, combined with the ship's enhanced maneuverability, allowed them to dodge most attacks while their shields absorbed the rest. Second target locked, Mike called out. Another pulse fired, another alien ship disabled. As they broke free of the planet's atmosphere, the full might of the Blue One's battleship came into view. It was massive, easily 50 times the size of the Hope. Multiple weapon systems targeting us, Anna warned. But before the battleship could fire, the Hope vanished from normal space, reappearing instantly 2,000 kilometers to the battleship's flank. What just happened? Lisa gasped, clutching her restraints. Tom laughed, the sound filled with exhilaration. Dimensional phase shifting. It was in their sabotage tech, a way to make parts of our ship vanish from reality. I just applied it to the whole ship. On the main viewer, they could see the Blue One's battleship turning ponderously, trying to reacquire them. From the commander's chair, Captain Jack allowed himself a small smile. Send a message to the battleship, Anna. Tell them the hunt has changed. Now we're the predators. The bridge of the Blue One's battleship erupted in chaos. The commander's skin shifted through alarmed patterns of deep purple and agitated blue as reports flooded in from all stations. The human vessel has vanished again, cried a sensor operator. Impossible, the commander hissed. Find them. Meanwhile, the Hope phased back into normal space directly behind one of the Blue One's escort ships. The human vessel, once merely a scientific exploration craft, now moved with impossible speed and precision. Weapons locked, Mike reported calmly. Firing. The pulse struck the alien ship's engines, disabling it instantly. Before the other alien vessels could respond, the Hope vanished again, shifting between dimensions. Status report, Captain Jack demanded as they re-emerged 10 kilometers away. Phase shift drive functioning at 87%, Tom replied, his fingers dancing across his modified console. Each jump drained significant power, but the alien power cells are recharging faster than I anticipated. Anna looked up from communications, her expression grim. Captain, I'm detecting multiple warp signatures. They're calling in reinforcements. On the main display, spatial rifts tore open around them as more Blue One's ships appeared, dozens of them, forming a vast net around the Hope. We're outnumbered 50-1, Mike stated flatly. Captain Jack's face remained impassive. Tom, do we have any more surprises? The engineer hesitated, then nodded slowly. One more. I've been working on a way to use the phase drive offensively. Instead of shifting our entire ship, we could project a phase field around enemy vessels. What would that do? Lisa asked. In theory? It would partially shift their ships between dimensions, scrambling their systems in ways they couldn't prepare for. Jack considered for only a moment. Do it. Instead of running from the approaching alien armada, the Hope accelerated directly toward the center of the formation. Broadcast on all frequencies, Jack ordered Anna. Let everyone see what happens when you underestimate humans. Anna activated the ship's external cameras and began transmitting the battle to every receiver in range, including those of other alien species monitoring the conflict. As the Hope weaved through enemy fire, Tom activated his phase projector. A ripple of distortion spread outward from their ship, catching 3 Blue One's vessels in its field. The effect was immediate and dramatic. Sections of the alien ships became transparent, systems failed, and crews found themselves partially phased out of normal space. It's working! Tom shouted over the rumble of the straining engines. Meanwhile, Dr. Lisa had been analyzing data from the biological agent they'd found in their air systems. Captain, I think I've adapted their own biological weapon. If we can deliver it to their ships, it will temporarily disable their navigation systems. Mike, arm a probe with the doctor's agent, Jack ordered. The security officer nodded and left his station. Minutes later, the Hope launched a modified probe into the heart of the alien fleet. It detonated in a cloud of microscopic particles that spread throughout the enemy formation. Multiple ships reporting navigation failures, Anna confirmed, listening to the panicked alien communications. The battle continued for another hour, the Hope dancing through the enemy fleet, appearing and disappearing unpredictably. Despite being vastly outnumbered, the human ship's enhanced capabilities and the crew's ingenuity kept them alive and fighting. Captain, Mike called out during a brief lull, I have an idea. Their command ship is vulnerable. If we can board it and access their central computer. A boarding action? Against their flagship? Lisa looked incredulous. They won't expect it, Mike argued. Not from primitive humans. Jack studied the tactical display showing the massive alien command ship at the center of the formation. Its defenses were formidable, but it had clearly never been designed to repel internal threats. Prepare boarding equipment, he decided. Tom, can you get us close enough? Tom grinned. Watch me. The Hope vanished once more, reappearing mere kilometers from the Blue One's command ship. Before the aliens could react, Mike led a small team including Anna through an emergency airlock, using modified phase technology to pass directly through the alien hull. Inside the command ship, they moved swiftly through blue-lit corridors, avoiding alien crew members using stealth tactics. Anna's knowledge of the Blue One's communications helped them navigate to the central computer core. Download everything, Mike ordered as Anna connected their devices to the alien system. Star charts, technology specifications, fleet deployments, everything. Minutes later, they returned to the Hope with their precious data cargo. Tom integrated the captured alien navigation charts immediately, revealing the full extent of Blue One's territory, and the locations of other spacefaring species. Captain, Anna called out suddenly, the Blue One's fleet is retreating. On the main screen, they watched as the alien vessels broke formation and began jumping to warp. The battle was over. But as they celebrated their impossible victory, a final message came through from the retreating Blue One's commander. This is not finished, humans. The threefold balance will not be disrupted. The High Council has been notified of your threat. All species will unite against you. Captain Jack looked at his battered but undefeated crew. Well, he said with grim determination, it seems we've made quite an impression on the galaxy. The Hope streaked through space on a direct course for Earth, its hybrid engines pushing well beyond their original design limits. Inside, the crew worked tirelessly to prepare for what was coming. Engine efficiency at 130%, Tom reported from his station. His hands hadn't stopped moving for days as he refined the alien technology they had integrated. I've created a complete technical database explaining how I modified our systems. Earth's engineers should be able to replicate everything we've done." Captain Jack nodded, the weight of responsibility heavy on his shoulders. They weren't just bringing home advanced technology, they were bringing a war. "Time to Earth?" he asked. 36 hours at current speed," Anna replied. She had barely slept since they escaped the Blue One's fleet, dividing her time between analyzing alien communication patterns and establishing contact with other species they had discovered in the stolen star charts. "I've identified 7 other spacefaring civilizations," she told the captain. 3 of them appear to be in conflict with the Blue Ones. They might be potential allies. Dr. Lisa approached with her medical tablet. "I've completed my analysis of their biological weapons. Earth will need these countermeasures immediately." She looked exhausted but determined. "I've also developed some protective protocols against other potential alien pathogens based on what we've learned." Security Officer Mike entered the bridge, his face grim but resolved. "The tactical data we stole is incredible, Captain. Their battle formations, their weaknesses, everything we need to fight them." He hesitated. "But their numbers are overwhelming. If Earth stands alone." "Earth won't stand alone," Jack replied firmly. "Not once we show them what we've learned." The next day and a half passed in a blur as they prepared for arrival. Tom finalized his technical schematics while Lisa prepared her medical briefing. Mike compiled tactical assessments, and Anna drafted first contact protocols for potential alien allies. Captain Jack locked himself away for hours, crafting the speech he would deliver to Earth's leaders, a speech that needed to prepare humanity for both a terrible threat and an unprecedented opportunity. When they finally reached Earth orbit, they were met not with the welcome they had expected, but with wary defense vessels surrounding them. "They don't recognize us," Anna realized as warning messages flooded the communication system. "Our ship looks too different with all the modifications." "Open a channel," Jack ordered. When the connection was established, he spoke clearly, "This is Captain Jack of the Hope. We've returned with critical information. Earth is in danger." After tense negotiations and identity verifications, they were allowed to land at the main space center. As they descended through the atmosphere, they saw their home planet with new eyes, no longer just their world, but one world among many in a dangerous galaxy. Earth's response to their warning was swift and decisive. Within days, the modifications developed by Tom were being implemented on every ship in Earth's small fleet. Defense stations were upgraded with hybrid technology. Production facilities worked around the clock to build new vessels incorporating the alien advancements. Dr. Lisa traveled between research centers, sharing her biological countermeasures and helping develop new protective systems. Security Officer Mike trained Earth's defense forces, preparing them for the tactics and strategies of the Blue Ones. Anna established Earth's first interstellar diplomatic corps, using the communication codes they had captured to reach out to potential allies. To everyone's surprise, 3 different alien species responded positively, intrigued by how the humans had stood against the feared Blue Ones. 2 months after the Hope's return, long-range sensors detected a massive warp signature approaching the solar system. The Blue Ones had arrived with their promised armada, but they found not the primitive world they expected, but a fully prepared human fleet armed with their own technology. Captain Jack led the defense from the Hope, now the flagship of Earth's forces. As the alien fleet emerged from warp, they hesitated, clearly surprised by the transformed human vessels facing them. "They're scanning us," Anna reported from communications. "They can't believe what they're seeing." "And we're not alone," Tom added as allied alien ships appeared at the edges of the solar system, representatives from species also tired of Blue One's dominance. The battle that followed was brief but decisive. The Blue Ones, faced with humans wielding technology equal to their own and supported by other galactic powers, were forced to retreat. 1 week later, representatives from the Blue Ones arrived to negotiate. The threefold balance had become the fourfold balance, with humanity recognized as a new power in galactic politics. As the diplomatic talks concluded, the crew of the Hope gathered on the observation deck of Earth's orbital station, looking out at the stars that had once seemed so distant and were now within reach. "What do you think happens next?" Lisa asked quietly. Engineer Tom smiled, his eyes already filled with new ideas and possibilities. "Next," he said, "we show them what human ingenuity can really do when we're not just fighting to survive." Captain Jack nodded in agreement, watching as Earth's newly constructed ships prepared for their first official missions of exploration. The aliens had tried to eliminate humanity before it could join the galactic community, but instead, they had only accelerated the process. "They thought our greatest strength was our technology," he said. "But they were wrong. Our greatest strength is our ability to adapt, to take what seems like defeat and turn it into victory." As the Hope's crew looked out at the vast galaxy now open before them, they knew one thing with certainty: humanity's journey among the stars had only just begun.